Hi, I'm Jentuck Goins, a senior consultant with TIP Strategies. I'm the project manager for our work with CMAP on the inclusive growth analysis, along with Jeff Marcel, a senior partner at our firm. Today, we will take you guys through a very high-level look at the work that we put into this effort, some of our data analysis, the proprietary data tool that we created for CMAP, and just a little snippet of the recommendations that are included in our report. I'd like to start by sharing my screen with you and share the project goal. So what we were really trying to do was create an actionable strategy for inclusive economic growth that supports a more sustainable and resilient region post-COVID-19. We grounded our work in national trends. I'm just going to share two of those with you here today. One is looking at unemployment versus the number of job openings. And what we can see here is the red line for job openings shows about 2 times as many unfilled jobs as unemployed folks to fill those jobs. And so what we really see here is an opportunity to plug more people into the workforce. In the second slide, we look at job growth by wage tier. This is indexed to 2007, just to give us an example of how patterns have changed both through the Great Recession and through the COVID-19 pandemic. And some of the big takeaways are: one, the growth rate for high wage jobs is much greater than low or middle wage jobs. Low wage jobs experienced the greatest slowdown in growth during the COVID-19 pandemic. And middle wage jobs have actually never recovered in their growth rate from that Great Recession. What we really see here is kind of a hollowing out of the middle wage jobs and middle class, a theme that I think we've all heard quite a bit about. So in addition to these national trends, we also took a look at local data and created what I mentioned earlier, the occupational accessibility tool. What that provides are several things. One is an overview of key industries. You can search by region or by county. Here I happen to choose Kane County traded clusters, being able to see what are the largest traded clusters, what is the employment number, what's the employment growth, what's the LQ, and then we can compare that to the region, to other counties, etc. We also have the ability to look at specific industry clusters in depth. What this chart shows you are the clusters within transportation and logistics. We're able to look at the employed residents by quadrant. So whether or not these jobs within a cluster are considered high quality or high accessibility. And then we can also see what occupations are within a cluster, how many people are employed, what are the hourly earnings, and this kind of information can really drive industry and workforce program decisions. The tool also allows us to view occupations in this quadrant form. When you look at the tool online and you hover over these bubbles, you can get information for the occupations in specific areas of the quadrant. So if you're very interested in, for example, looking at jobs that are high quality but lower access, that might be a way of identifying good opportunities, but building bridges to those jobs for folks if accessibility is currently a block. Or if you're looking at jobs that are high quality, high accessibility, how can we continue to grow those? This chart allows you to quickly identify those either for the region or on a county basis. This next plot allows us to dig really deep in specific occupations. Here I chose transportation and logistics cluster, looking at heavy and tractor trailer truck driver occupations. I chose this because typically there is a low barrier to entry with regard to education. This is an industry that's facing an employee shortage. And we can take a look here and see, where groups might be over or underrepresented. How could they possibly be prioritized or targeted for entry into this career? We can get a look at what hourly earnings are like, what is unemployment like, and it just creates better informed decision-making going forward. And looking at the recommendations, we were really grounded in 3 guiding principles. One is regional coordination. All strategies need to be applied both to the region and at the local level. 2 is economic equity and opportunity. Everything that we do really needs to be prioritized to benefit disadvantaged areas and the people most adversely impacted by COVID-19. And then 3 is economic growth through traded clusters. So we really looked at those traded clusters. They provide high value in terms of industry innovation, high wages, et cetera, bringing in dollars from outside the region, very valuable for that local economic growth. We have 4 strategic growth areas underneath those guiding principles: transportation, distribution, and logistics, electric vehicles and clean energy, advanced manufacturing, and agriculture, technology, and food processing. Each of these are existing industries within your region that are very strong, but we see ways that they can be grown and changed over time to become leading examples within the nation. Just going to give you a quick preview of some of the strategic recommendations under TDNL Each of the growth area has these associated with the growth area, but here we have one, increasing interorganizational coordination. Two, developing the regional talent pipeline to better incorporate DEI goals by aligning efforts between educators, training providers, and employers, and then creating that culture of innovation that's responsive to industry changes. For each of these strategic recommendations, we have associated actions. On this next slide, you'll see just an example of some of the actions that we've included in our plan. The first one, developing those regionally coordinated plans and policies to preserve industrial land that has access to freight facilities and highways. There is some of this happening at the local level, but we see a lot of potential in scaling it up to the regional level, having all of that be interconnected. Two is convening employers in the logistics sector to identify strategies for increasing DEI. This can be done by examining recruitment methods, training and skill development opportunities, and career pathways for workers. And there are some case studies in the report related to efforts that are actually doing this that we think are relevant to the Chicagoland region. Three is working with businesses to adopt electric and alternative fuel trucking fleets, and then connect those companies with local manufacturers. That's another really big opportunity that emerged both through our research and in our stakeholder outreach. I want to say thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you taking the time to invite us to this meeting, and we will stick around if you have any questions that you would like to discuss. Thank you.